Alright guys, tonight I'm going to be making like a chicken Parmesan type dish. I am trying to be more gluten-free and dairy-free, and while this Greek yogurt isn't dairy-free, it doesn't affect me too much, but I am using this non-fat Greek yogurt and this dairy-free Parmesan and just salt, pepper, and garlic. And really you only need salt and pepper, but I'm adding onion powder to this, and then I have mayonnaise as well. And so I'm gonna just, and I have spinach. And then I am gonna add some broccoli to the dish and just kind of bake everything. And that way I have a couple of days worth of dinners. I have from the meal prepping I did for the kind of like the PF Chang Chinese dish. I'm just going to use rice, and I'm going to put it over rice, put this dish over rice. You can do pasta, or you can just leave it as is, but just as a filler item and kind of use what I have, I'm going to add the rice to the dish for a filler, since I already have it on hand and I need to use it before it goes bad, and I don't want to go that to go to waste. So I'm just going to start adding my my items to this dish. It's rather easy, and I am going to make one piece of chicken separate from my son's because he likes chicken, but it's basic. Since I am using chicken tonight for my dinner, I am going to utilize the opportunity to bake the chicken on the side as I'm cooking my dish. So I'm not making multiple, it's really not extra work. So in a bowl, I combined the Greek yogurts, the Parmesan, and the mayonnaise. And you can do whatever you need to do for dairy-free, gluten-free, whatever, but I'm doing me and you do you. But I did about a half of a cup of mayonnaise, half a cup of Greek yogurt, half a cup of Parmesan cheese, and then I added salt and pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder to this. You can do it as fresh or not as fresh as you want. You could just add salt and pepper to this. It's going to be beautifully tasting. If you just do salt and pepper, and I usually do it without onion powder, but I am adding onion powder to it this time. And I don't have any exact measurements, but I only have 3 pieces of chicken breast that I'm doing with this. This would probably be enough for 4 chicken breasts or chicken thighs. And then in a separate container, I just added a chicken breast for my son because he does food separately. He is not he's a picky eater, so I just, I already sprayed this pan and the other pan, but he is a picky eater, so I'm just making that as I'm making my dish. That way, even though we're making separate meals, he'll still be able to get his meal, and it's not extra work for me because he's simple. He only likes specific foods. But I have a bag of spinach here. And I'm just going to add it to the bottom of this sprayed pan. And I added a lot of it because it shrinks down as it's cooking. And honestly, I got a bigger bag than I thought I was gonna get. So So I'm just going to cook up more of it in here. So it is quite a bit filling in my casserole dish. And then I'm gonna add the chicken, and then I also have some cut up broccoli here that I'm just going to bake with this to add to it for the meal. But I'm just going to, this is not appealing, but I'm just going to add the chicken on top of the spinach, and just like so. And I don't do exact measurements. What I call cook from the heart with love. And I think that's why I get so many compliments on my food, because I really just kind of go with what my heart desires and what I have on hand usually. So that is that. I'm gonna wash my hands real quick. All right, and I'm actually gonna add little broccoli pieces around the dish, and just needed an extra source of fiber to the to my meals because I need it. And so I'm just tucking the little trees inside the dish, around the dish. And there's really no rhyme or reason to it, but that is that. And so there is that. And then I'm just going to add this cream base all over the top of the chickens, and it really just turns out so beautifully every single time. It's so delicious, it's so easy, and it's rather cost friendly. I mean, I'm never going to do cost breakdowns for anything because I'm not that savvy with numbers. And so you see here, I'm just kind of draping it across the chicken to cover the chicken. And I'm not trying to avoid the broccoli, but all I'm going to do is spray it with a little bit of olive oil. And not olive oil, avocado oil. And so here I'm just going to spray the broccoli with a little bit of avocado oil. And then really you can just add whatever you want. You don't even need to add spinach to this. You can just make the chicken, throw it over some pasta. I do gluten-free, so I do gluten-free pasta usually with this. And you can just add like your avocado, salt, pepper, garlic to your pasta and then throw the chicken over it. So delish. But here is that. And then I'm gonna throw it in the oven, and I'm doing 375 for about 20 or 30 minutes. I'll kind of just eyeball it, but I just give it a good 30 minutes or kind of until the top layer browns. And usually that's a good indicator that your chicken's done. If it's a thicker piece of chicken, I'll cut the chicken in half. That way it cooks evenly. If it's a thicker piece of chicken that you want to use and not slice it, you're going to probably want to put it in for a lot longer because it's going to take a while to cook through. But I do 375 even though it really needs to only be on 350 because I really like to try to brown this since it is a vegan dairy-free Parmesan cheese. So that is that. And again, all I used was this non-fat Greek yogurt, a dairy-free Parmesan. You can use whatever Parmesan you want, mayonnaise, salt and pepper, garlic powder, and onion powder. You don't even need those. I just add it for extra flavor. And then I'm actually gonna just throw a little bit of salt and pepper over the broccoli. And then throw it in the oven again for about 20 to 30 minutes, and I'll just check on it as it's browning. So there it is in my good old dirty oven that I need to clean. But here's his chicken already cooking, and then here's my dish, and I'm just going to set the timer. I'm actually gonna just set it for about 25 minutes. And I think, oops, got a little excited. Actually, you know what? I'm gonna do it for 30 minutes because I think that's good. So got the timer set, and then I'll just warm up the rice, and that is going to be my meal. All right, so here is the final product here. So yummy. I'm just gonna warm up some rice and throw this over some rice and call it my dinner. And then I have the one piece of chicken here for my son for his dinner for tomorrow night. Alright, so here's what that actually looks like. Sorry about all the noise in the background. My son is taking a bath, but I have just some warmed up rice here. I did 2 heaping bowls, or you could do like, I don't know, like 3 tablespoons, heaping tablespoons of rice. And then I'm just taking the chicken here, placing it on top with the spinach on the bottom here, and then throwing on some of this. And then I will actually get a spoon here real quick. So I'm just going to take a spoonful of this juice and kind of just layer it over the rice and stuff, so it kind of gives that flavor inside the rice. And that is really it. And that is my dinner for tonight. Nothing too fancy, but super healthy and easy, might I add. So there we go.